The Ottoman Empire, spanning 6 centuries, stood as a formidable power in the Middle East and Europe, yet its ambitions to conquer Persia, modern-day Iran, were constrained by a multitude of factors that shaped their historical interactions. One of the foremost obstacles was the rugged terrain separating Turkey and Persia. This region, characterized by mountainous landscapes and challenging terrains, posed significant logistical hurdles for Ottoman military campaigns. The vast distances and sparse infrastructure made it exceedingly difficult to supply troops and maintain effective control over conquered territories. The Ottomans found themselves stretched thin when attempting to penetrate deeper into Persian territory beyond the border regions. The daunting terrain not only impeded movement, but also made it difficult to sustain a prolonged presence, as the cost and complexity of transporting supplies and reinforcements over such inhospitable landscapes often outweighed the potential gains. Religious differences played a crucial role in shaping Ottoman-Persian relations. The Ottomans, predominantly Sunni Muslims, clashed with the Safavids and subsequent Persian dynasties, who were staunch adherents of Shia Islam. This religious divide not only fueled animosity between the empires but also influenced the strategic decisions and military campaigns. Ottoman attempts to expand eastward were often met with fierce resistance driven by religious fervor and identity, making prolonged occupations and territorial control challenging and politically sensitive. The influence of religious leaders and clerics on both sides intensified these conflicts, often framing them as holy wars that justified significant resource allocation and mobilization of large armies. The sectarian conflict also permeated societal structures, leading to mistrust and hostility that extended beyond the battlefield into economic, political, and cultural exchanges between the two empires. These deep-rooted religious differences meant that each military encounter was not just a battle for land, but a struggle for ideological supremacy, further complicating the possibility of stable governance over conquered regions. The history of Ottoman-Persian relations is punctuated by a series of wars and conflicts, each influencing the dynamics between the two powers. The Ottoman-Safavid War of 1514, for instance, marked a significant clash at the Battle of Chaldiran. This battle was notable not only for the tactical and strategic maneuvers employed but also for the use of gunpowder weapons by the Ottomans, which highlighted the evolving nature of warfare in the region. While the Ottomans achieved military victories and temporarily captured strategic cities like Tabriz, their control over Persian territories remained tenuous. Subsequent wars such as the Ottoman-Safavid War of 1532 to 1555 and conflicts into the 17th and 18th centuries continued to demonstrate the challenges of sustaining Ottoman territorial expansion deep into Persian lands. These wars highlighted the strategic difficulties and logistical constraints that hindered Ottoman ambitions beyond occasional border skirmishes. The repeated military engagements strained resources and manpower, often leading to temporary truces and treaties that reflected the exhaustion and strategic recalculations of both empires. Despite moments of military success, the Ottomans found that the cost of maintaining control in Persia often eclipsed the benefits, leading to a cycle of conquest and retreat. Beyond geographical and religious factors, strategic considerations shaped Ottoman policies towards Persia. The Ottomans, often engaged in simultaneous conflicts with European powers, faced competing priorities and resource allocations. Alliances and rivalries with European states, such as the Habsburgs and later the French, necessitated Ottoman focus on defending their western territories and securing maritime trade routes, diverting attention and resources away from sustained campaigns eastward. The strategic calculations often led the Ottomans to prioritize consolidating their existing domains rather than risking extended military engagements into the challenging terrain of Persia. This focus on the West was also driven by the lucrative economic opportunities presented by controlling trade routes and access to the Mediterranean, which were critical for the empire's economic stability and growth. The intricate balance of power in Europe, coupled with the need to maintain a formidable naval presence, further constrained Ottoman ambitions in the East. The necessity to protect and expand their western frontiers, coupled with the relentless pressures of European politics, meant that the Ottomans had to constantly juggle their military and diplomatic efforts, often leaving their eastern ambitions unrealized in favor of more immediate and manageable goals. By the 19th century, the Ottoman Empire entered a period of decline marked by internal instability and external pressures, earning the moniker the sick man of Europe. Internal conflicts, such as the Jalali revolts and administrative challenges, strained Ottoman resources and weakened central authority. The Jalali revolts, a series of rebellions by provincial governors and local leaders, underscored the declining central control and increasing regional autonomy that plagued the empire. These internal struggles were compounded by economic difficulties, including inflation, corruption, and the inefficiency of the tax system, which further eroded the empire's ability to sustain prolonged military campaigns. Concurrently, conflicts with European powers intensified, further diminishing Ottoman capacity for expansive military campaigns into distant territories like Persia. The Ottoman-Persian Wars during this period highlighted Persia's resilience and the formidable challenges that thwarted Ottoman ambitions for territorial expansion. Persia, under the leadership of the Qajar dynasty, managed to consolidate its power and resist Ottoman advances through a combination of strategic alliances, military reforms, and leveraging European rivalries to its advantage. While the Ottomans demonstrated military prowess and territorial ambitions, their efforts to conquer Persia were constrained by geographical obstacles, religious divisions, strategic considerations, and the pressures of internal decline and external conflicts. The legacy of Ottoman-Persian relations underscores the complex interplay of geopolitical factors that shaped the Middle East and influenced subsequent historical developments in the region. Understanding these dynamics provides insights into why the Ottomans, despite their stature as a dominant imperial power, did not achieve lasting conquests into Persia beyond occasional and limited territorial gains. The intricate web of diplomacy, warfare, and cultural exchanges between the Ottomans and Persians left an indelible mark on the history of the region, influencing everything from trade routes and economic policies to religious practices and cultural interactions. The resilience of Persia in the face of Ottoman ambitions also highlights the importance of local dynamics and leadership in resisting imperial expansion, offering valuable lessons for understanding the broader patterns of conquest and resistance throughout history. To delve deeper into the history of Ottoman-Persian relations and understand why the Ottomans did not conquer Persia, one must explore various aspects in great detail. This includes examining the geopolitical landscape of the time, the military strategies employed, the economic considerations, and the cultural interactions between the two empires. In the complex tapestry of regional geopolitics, the Ottoman Empire and Persia loomed large as pivotal powers, each asserting formidable influence over their respective spheres. The Ottoman Empire, stretching from the heartlands of Anatolia across the Levant, North Africa, and deep into southeastern Europe, wielded authority through a blend of military prowess, administrative acumen, and shrewd diplomacy. From the early conquests under Osman I to the zenith of imperial splendor under Suleiman the Magnificent, Ottoman expansion was marked by a strategic blend of military campaigns, alliances with local potentates, and astute governance that incorporated diverse cultural and religious communities into its multifaceted realm. Contrasting with the Ottomans' westward and northward thrust, Persia maintained a steadfast grip over the vast expanse of the Iranian plateau, extending from the Zagros Mountains to the Persian Gulf and beyond. The Persian Safavid Empire, emerging from the turmoil of regional conflicts and religious strife, solidified its position as a counterweight to Ottoman dominance during the early modern period. Led by charismatic rulers like Shah Ismail I and Shah Abbas the Great, Persia leveraged its strategic geographic position and cultural heritage to forge alliances with European powers and regional actors, enhancing its diplomatic clout and military resilience against Ottoman encroachment. The geographical realities of the region played a decisive role in shaping the dynamics between these two powers. The rugged Zagros Mountains, towering as natural fortresses, acted as a formidable barrier against Ottoman expansion eastward into Persian territory. Beyond these natural defenses, the harsh climate and sparse infrastructure posed substantial logistical challenges for Ottoman military campaigns, limiting their ability to sustain prolonged occupations or exert comprehensive control over Persian territories. This geographic standoff, compounded by the diplomatic maneuvering and occasional military conflicts between the Ottomans and Persia, defined the ebb and flow of power across the Middle East and into Central Asia. Economically, both the Ottoman Empire and Persia strategically capitalized on their geographic advantages within regional trade networks to nurture bustling commercial hubs that connected East and West. Ottoman cities such as Istanbul, Cairo, and Aleppo thrived as vibrant centers of commerce and cultural exchange, attracting merchants from across the Mediterranean and Asia, while Persian cities like Isfahan, Shiraz, and Tabriz flourished as pivotal nodes along the Silk Road, facilitating the exchange of goods, ideas, and technologies across Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. This economic vitality not only enriched imperial coffers, but also fostered artistic patronage, architectural splendor, and intellectual innovation that left a lasting imprint on global history. The Ottomans, situated at the crossroads of Europe, Asia, and Africa, leveraged their advantageous position to develop a robust maritime economy focused on controlling Mediterranean trade routes, with Istanbul as the empire's bustling entrepot. In contrast, Persia's economic strategy centered on harnessing its agrarian base and regional trade networks to sustain internal stability and economic resilience, with cities like Isfahan and Shiraz emerging as vibrant centers of artisanal production and commercial exchange. These differing economic priorities profoundly influenced their military strategies, with the Ottomans emphasizing naval dominance and the Persians relying on agricultural productivity and regional trade, shaping their geopolitical influence and early modern statecraft dynamics in the Middle East. Culturally, the Ottoman Empire and Persia both cultivated rich traditions reflecting their diverse ethnic, linguistic, and religious tapestries. Ottoman society, renowned for its synthesis of Islamic law with Byzantine and Roman traditions, embraced cultural diversity through mechanisms like the millet system, which granted relative autonomy to religious and ethnic communities within the empire. This approach facilitated the flourishing of diverse artistic, intellectual, and religious expressions in cities such as Istanbul, Cairo, and Aleppo. Similarly, Persia's Safavid rulers promoted Shia Islam as the state religion, fostering a distinctive cultural identity that resonated across cities like Isfahan, Shiraz, and Tabriz, marked by a flourishing artistic renaissance under Shah Abbas the Great, characterized by Safavid miniature painting, architecture, and poetry, reflecting Persia's cultural vibrancy and enduring influence on the broader Islamic world. Interactions between the Ottoman Empire and Persia were complex, defined by mutual influence, diplomatic engagements, and religious divisions over centuries. Despite the Sunni-Shia religious divide, both empires experienced significant cultural exchange and intellectual flourishing, leaving enduring legacies. Persian art, literature, and architecture deeply influenced Ottoman culture, with Ottoman elites adopting Persian artistic forms such as miniature painting, poetry, and manuscript illumination. This cultural exchange peaked during the Safavid era, under Shah Abbas the Great, when Persian motifs and stylistic elements permeated Ottoman mosques, palaces, and decorative arts, blending Persian aesthetic sensibilities with Ottoman traditions. Conversely, Ottoman cultural achievements, including Turkish literature and monumental architecture, also left a profound impact on Persian society. Ottoman diplomatic missions and trade networks facilitated intellectual exchanges between scholars and artists from both empires, enriching cultural discourse and fostering mutual understanding. The Ottoman court in Istanbul served as a vibrant hub where Persian intellectuals and poets were welcomed, contributing to a cosmopolitan atmosphere where ideas and artistic innovations thrived across religious and political boundaries. Diplomatic marriages and alliances between the Ottomans and Persians aimed to forge ties and facilitate cultural exchange, often navigating religious tensions and consolidating political power. However, deep-seated religious differences between Sunni Ottoman rulers and Shia Safavid rulers occasionally escalated into hostility and conflict, overshadowing cultural exchanges. These religious schisms, compounded by competing claims to religious authority, fueled sporadic military confrontations and diplomatic standoffs between the two empires, as evidenced by the prolonged Ottoman-Safavid Wars. In conclusion, while cultural exchanges between the Ottoman Empire and Persia yielded mutual artistic influence, intellectual exchange, and diplomatic engagements, persistent religious differences remained a barrier to sustained harmony. The legacy of Ottoman-Persian cultural interactions reveals the intricate dynamics of cross-cultural exchange amidst religious and political complexities, shaping Middle Eastern history and cultural heritage. Both the Ottoman Empire and Persia navigated a complex landscape of territorial defense, expansion, and strategic alliances to safeguard their respective domains. The Ottomans, renowned for their formidable Janissary corps and skilled cavalry units, maintained a potent military machine that enabled them to assert dominance over vast swaths of territory. The conquest of Constantinople in 1453 and subsequent campaigns across the Balkans and North Africa expanded Ottoman influence, solidifying their status as a preeminent military power in the Mediterranean and beyond. Conversely, Persia's military strategy revolved around the mobilization of tribal levies, professional armies, and adept cavalry units to defend its territorial frontiers and expand its influence into Central Asia and the Caucasus. The military rivalry between the Ottomans and Persia, epitomized by conflicts such as the Ottoman-Safavid Wars, underscored the volatile interplay of power and ambition that defined the early modern era in the Middle East. Military strategies played a pivotal role in shaping the outcomes of conflicts between the Ottomans and Persians throughout their history. The Ottomans, renowned for their formidable military organization and disciplined forces such as the elite Janissary Corps, employed advanced artillery techniques that often gave them a technological edge on the battlefield. This advantage was evident in key engagements like the Battle of Chaldiran in 1514, where Ottoman forces utilized superior firepower to secure a significant victory. However, despite these tactical successes, logistical challenges, and the formidable resistance of Persian forces tempered Ottoman gains. The Persians, on their part, boasted a strong military tradition characterized by skilled cavalry units and adept use of fortified positions, which often nullified Ottoman advances and prolonged campaigns. The aftermath of battles such as Chaldiran underscored the intricate balance of military strengths and strategic limitations that defined Ottoman-Persian conflicts, highlighting how both empires adapted their military strategies to navigate complex geopolitical realities in the region. Diplomatically, both empires engaged in a delicate balancing act of alliances, treaties, and strategic engagements to navigate the complexities of regional politics. The Ottomans cultivated alliances with European powers such as France and Venice, leveraging diplomatic exchanges and military cooperation to bolster their maritime dominance in the Mediterranean and secure territorial gains in North Africa and the Balkans. Concurrently, Persia's Safavid rulers forged strategic partnerships with European states like England and the Netherlands, seeking military assistance and commercial privileges to counterbalance Ottoman influence and safeguard Persian territorial integrity. These diplomatic maneuvers, characterized by shifting alliances and occasional betrayals, underscored the intricate interplay of power dynamics and geopolitical calculus that shaped the contours of early modern diplomacy in the Middle East. Religiously, both empires navigated the complexities of sectarian identity and religious diversity within their domains, fostering a pluralistic ethos that accommodated diverse faith communities. The Ottoman Empire, rooted in Sunni Islam, embraced a tolerant approach to religious minorities through the millet system, granting autonomy to Christian, Jewish, and other non-Muslim communities to practice their faiths and govern their internal affairs. This policy of religious pluralism facilitated cultural exchange, artistic patronage, and intellectual innovation within Ottoman society, contributing to the empire's cultural vibrancy and cosmopolitan ethos. Conversely, Persia's Safavid rulers championed Shia Islam as the state religion, promoting its propagation through religious institutions, patronage of Shia scholars, and cultural initiatives that celebrated Persian identity and religious orthodoxy. This emphasis on religious uniformity, coupled with policies of religious persecution against Sunni Muslims and other minority communities, underscored Persia's distinct approach to statecraft and cultural identity during the early modern era. However, the Ottoman Empire and Persia emerged as pivotal forces within the dynamic tapestry of early modern geopolitics, each leaving an indelible imprint on the cultural, economic, military, and diplomatic landscapes of the Middle East and beyond. Through a blend of military conquests, diplomatic maneuvering, and cultural patronage, these empires navigated the complexities of regional power dynamics, leaving a lasting legacy that continues to resonate within the contemporary geopolitical landscape. The internal dynamics of the Ottoman Empire played a crucial role in shaping its approach towards Persia and external affairs. Despite its outward appearance of strength and vast territorial holdings, the Ottomans grappled with significant internal challenges that deeply influenced their policies and strategic decisions. Foremost among these challenges were the recurring succession crisis within the Ottoman imperial family, which often triggered power struggles and conflicts among rival claimants to the throne. These disputes not only destabilized central authority, but also diverted crucial resources and attention away from external military campaigns, including engagements with Persia. Administrative corruption posed another major issue, permeating the Ottoman state and undermining effective governance. Bureaucratic inefficiencies, bribery, and nepotism eroded public trust and hindered the empire's ability to implement coherent policies or effectively respond to external threats such as Persian military advances or diplomatic maneuvers. Furthermore, regional revolts like the Jalali uprisings presented persistent challenges to Ottoman authority, erupting periodically across provinces in response to economic hardships, perceived injustices, or religious grievances. These revolts required significant military resources and financial expenditures to suppress, further straining the empire's capacity to maintain stability and project power beyond its borders. In light of these internal challenges, Ottoman policies towards Persia were often shaped by the empire's need to prioritize internal stability and suppress domestic dissent over ambitious external expansion. While the Ottomans maintained strategic interests in extending their influence into Persian territories and beyond, the realities of internal strife and administrative shortcomings frequently dictated a cautious and pragmatic approach, focusing more on consolidating existing holdings and managing immediate threats rather than sustained military campaigns in distant and volatile regions like Persia. Thus, the Ottoman Empire's internal dynamics, characterized by succession struggles, administrative corruption, and regional unrest, profoundly influenced its diplomatic and military strategies towards Persia, highlighting the intricate interplay between domestic challenges and imperial ambitions in shaping Ottoman foreign policy during this period. External pressures from European powers indeed played a significant role in shaping Ottoman-Persian relations during the early modern period. The Ottoman Empire, situated at the crossroads of Europe, Asia, and Africa, found itself embroiled in frequent conflicts and diplomatic maneuverings with European states such as the Habsburgs of Austria, the Venetians, and later the emerging power of Russia. These conflicts often demanded substantial military resources and diplomatic attention, diverting the Ottomans' focus and capabilities away from sustained campaigns in Persia. The Ottoman-Habsburg rivalry, in particular, spanned centuries and revolved around territorial disputes in the Balkans and Hungary, as well as control over strategic Mediterranean trade routes. Wars such as the Lom War, 1593–1606, and the Great Turkish War, 1683–1699, consumed Ottoman military energies and financial resources, limiting their ability to conduct prolonged military campaigns against Persia. Similarly, conflicts with the Venetians over maritime dominance in the Mediterranean strained Ottoman naval capabilities and diverted attention from eastern frontiers. The emergence of Russia as a formidable power in Eastern Europe and the Caucasus further complicated Ottoman strategic calculations. The Russo-Ottoman Wars, beginning in the late 17th century and continuing into the 18th century, saw repeated clashes over territories in the Black Sea region and the Caucasus, territories that were geographically adjacent to Persia. Ottoman efforts to counter Russian expansionism and secure their southern borders required substantial military deployments and diplomatic negotiations, often overshadowing their engagements with Persia. The shifting alliances and rivalries among European powers also influenced Ottoman strategies towards Persia. Ottoman rulers sought to navigate these complex dynamics by forging strategic alliances with European states like France and England, which offered diplomatic support and occasionally military assistance against common adversaries. Conversely, European interventions in Ottoman-Persian affairs, whether through diplomatic mediation or military intervention, further complicated the geopolitical landscape and influenced the balance of power in the broader Middle Eastern region. In summary, external pressures from European powers, characterized by frequent conflicts, diplomatic maneuvers, and shifting alliances, significantly influenced Ottoman-Persian relations during the early modern era. These external engagements demanded considerable Ottoman resources and attention, limiting their capacity to focus on sustained campaigns in Persia and contributing to the complex interplay of regional power dynamics in the Middle East and beyond. The decline of the Ottoman Empire in the 18th and 19th centuries was marked by profound transformations and challenges that reshaped its political, economic, and social landscape. Situated at the crossroads of Europe, Asia, and Africa, the Ottomans faced increasing external pressures from European powers like Austria, Venice, and later Russia, which demanded substantial military resources and diplomatic attention. Rivalries with the Habsburgs and Venetians over Balkan territories and Mediterranean trade routes, as well as conflicts with Russia in the Black Sea and Caucasus regions, diverted Ottoman focus away from engagements in Persia and strained their military capabilities. The Russo-Ottoman Wars and Austro-Ottoman Wars resulted in territorial losses and weakened the empire's strategic position, exemplified by the Treaty of Cajamarca, 1774, favoring Russia. Economically, the Ottomans struggled against Europe's industrial advances, facing challenges in trade dominance and fiscal stability due to an agrarian economy and outdated trade routes. Internal corruption, inefficiencies in tax collection, and social unrest exacerbated by oppressive taxation policies further destabilized the empire. Administrative decentralization and resistance to military reforms hindered efforts to modernize, despite initiatives like the Tanzimat reforms aiming to overhaul legal, administrative, and military structures. These reforms, championed by figures like Mustafa Rashid Pasha, aimed to centralize governance, promote equality, and spur economic development, but faced opposition from conservative elements. Externally, European powers exploited Ottoman weaknesses, imposing unequal treaties and influencing internal politics, as seen in the Crimean War, where Ottoman alliances underscored vulnerability amidst shifting geopolitical dynamics. In essence, The Ottoman Empire's decline was a complex interplay of internal reform struggles, external pressures from European imperialism, and the broader reconfiguration of global power dynamics, defining a pivotal era in Ottoman history. The legacy of Ottoman-Persian relations is deeply woven into the historical and cultural fabric of the Middle East. For centuries, the frequent wars and conflicts between these two empires shaped the political boundaries and demographic composition of the region. Geographically, the rugged terrain of the Zagros Mountains and the vast expanses of desert acted as natural barriers that often stymied Ottoman military campaigns into Persian territories. These geographical challenges, combined with the sheer distance and logistical difficulties, contributed to the Ottomans' struggle to achieve lasting conquests in Persia. Religiously, the divide between Sunni Ottoman Turkey and Shiite Safavid Persia played a significant role in shaping their interactions. While there were periods of cooperation and cultural exchange, religious differences often exacerbated tensions and fueled conflicts. The Ottomans' military campaigns were not solely driven by territorial ambitions, but were also influenced by the religious dynamics of the era, where Sunni-Shiite divisions added complexity to their strategic calculations. Strategically, both empires had distinct geopolitical priorities that influenced their military strategies and alliances. The Ottomans, as a Mediterranean power with interests in Europe, Africa, and the Middle East, faced the challenge of balancing their engagements on multiple fronts. This strategic dispersion sometimes hindered their ability to sustain prolonged campaigns deep into Persian territories, especially as European powers increasingly encroached upon Ottoman domains. Economically, while both empires were significant regional powers with vibrant trade networks, Persia's economic resilience allowed it to withstand Ottoman military pressures. The Persians focused on agriculture and regional trade, which provided a stable economic foundation and supported their ability to mobilize resources for defense and internal development. This economic stability bolstered Persia's capacity to resist Ottoman advances and maintain its independence. Internally, both empires grappled with administrative challenges and internal dissent. The Ottoman Empire, in particular, faced succession crises, bureaucratic inefficiencies, and regional revolts that often diverted resources and attention from external conquests. The internal dynamics within each empire, including court politics, factional rivalries, and local autonomy, shaped their foreign policies and military strategies vis-a-vis each other. In conclusion, the intricate interplay of geographical, religious, strategic, economic, and internal factors influenced Ottoman-Persian relations throughout history. The inability of the Ottoman Empire to fully conquer Persia underscores the complexity and resilience of both empires. Their interactions left a profound legacy of cultural exchange, artistic influence, and geopolitical dynamics that continue to shape the Middle East today. Understanding these historical dynamics offers insights into broader patterns of conflict, diplomacy, and cultural exchange that have defined the region's history over the centuries.